let's focus on the mission.
Can we even call this a mission? We're gonna be on the ground for like 20 minutes.
Do you take anything seriously?
No.
What I find very unique about this film is you're working with a first-time director, that being Steve Barnett, first feature film.
Right.
You guys have tenure in this filmography world. What do you learn as actors when you're working with a first-time director? Chase, we can start with you.
Sure. I mean, you know, although he's a first-time director, he is a incredibly seasoned producer, and he's somebody who's been in this industry and brought some incredible franchises to life. The Spiderwick Chronicles, he did 300 with Gerard Butler. So, you know, although he hasn't been in the director's chair, he's been in the chair directly next to them. So there's a little bit of safety there. And all of our producers, Bernie Goldstein, Alan Powell, I mean, we had a really, really great crew around us that allowed it to not feel like it was Steve's first time. And he, you know, he was prepped and ready. Like he really knew that going into this film that as his directorial debut, he didn't take it lightly. He was prepared, he was diligent, and really an actor's director too. Like he really allowed us the creative freedom on this film.
Yeah, I think also like Todd is his friend.
Yeah.
And it was very much based off of Todd's experience. It serving for 25
years.
25 years. And so I think Steve, like, there was this weight. There was this like, I have to get this right from my friend. And so I think he really kind of would come to work with that sense, and he did a great job. I think he really genuinely cared a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the producer's mentality really shone through with his directorial style. Lana, your character of Selby, she's got a very kind of, I don't want to say cliche, but the reason for joining the military is to give back to her country. And I feel like that is such a black and white statement, so to speak. After a mission like this, how does her perception of giving back change?
I don't know. I actually kind of disagree. I don't really know if that's cliche, because I mean, my brother is in the Navy, and he wanted to join for that very reason. We were both adopted from Vietnam, and literally he was like, how lucky am I to be here in America? Like, I want to serve my country. I don't know, like, I never thought about it after the fact. But I think there's a sense of, if the story were to go on, I think Selby would be very proud of how willing she was to tough it out and just sink or swim and just keep going. Like, I think she learned I mean, she's a pretty tough girl, but I think she would come out of it being like, I am proud of what I did, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, maybe cliche is the wrong word, but a lot of people, their reason for joining the military, that's what I mean by cliche.
Yeah, totally.
Edward, I love the position he's put in this film, because he's thrust into this role. Not something he ever expected to be doing. He's forced to step up, forced to be a leader. For you in your career, have you ever had that moment where opportunity strikes and you might not feel like you're ready for it, but it forced you to evolve?
Yeah, I mean, I think in most jobs that, you know, I've had in my career, I mean, I've done everything on the call sheet, from a featured extra to a co-star to recurring co-star, and I think when you get the opportunity to lead a project, there is just responsibility in ways that is not on the paper. It's not just a script. It's setting an example. It's showing up on time. It's being responsible to make sure that your other castmates show up prepared, and setting an example across the board, even with your director. If your director is not prepared to be able to call those people out and to be honest. So I think, yeah, like I've absolutely been faced with those challenges, but this is one of those rare occurrences, and sharing the screen with Lana, and I was saying this earlier, like her instinct is so incredible, and she's such a gifted and hardworking actress. And then you have Steve, who really wanted to come out of the gate and into the director's chair and make an impactful film. So, you know, we were very lucky to come into this and play a character that I've had those experiences in my career in the past, but ironically not have it with this film.
You complimented my suit before we started rolling. I really wanted to wear my bandana though, Chase.
Oh,
really wanted to. I'm sure you're getting bombarded with Outer Banks season 5 questions. I know the writing process is still very early on. Are you ready to say goodbye to John B? Does it feel emotional?
You know, I don't know if I'll ever. I think when you have a character that you've grown with and, you know, you've watched your career flourish with, there's you know, it's bittersweet. you know, because it's a safety. It's somebody that I care so deeply about, and you know
Knows
where
so well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he's like an alternate personality for
Yeah.
me at this point. And you know, it started with him being on the page, and now I have the beautiful conversations with our writers, and they're like, what do you think he would do in this situation? So it's gone from just getting hired to do the job to now being really involved with the process in a lot of different ways. And I'm grateful for that because I've learned so much as an artist and as a filmmaker. But you know, I think it's not how the plane takes off, it's how you land it. And so we've seen a lot of shows end in ways that people were not very happy with the ending. And then you have shows like Breaking Bad who do it right. So I hope that our showrunners and our writers and our writers' room are really being diligent and mindful and listening to the world around them so that we can land this plane in the ways that I think the world wants us to.
Does it feel weird without Rudy?
It does, yeah, it is. You know, it's never an easy thing to see a character go. But that's, you know, that's part of filmmaking, is you gotta have those moments, you gotta have those experiences that keep the audience on the edge of their seat. And so I adore him, and he's been a dear, dear friend for years, and an incredible artist, an incredible, incredible artist. So I'm equally as sad to see him go, but I'm equally excited to see where his career goes next.
Absolutely. Every October, me and my friends, we host an Oktoberfest. We get a keg, and I'll always sit on the keg and go, "Hey, you want a beer?" It's the classic season 1 line. That season 1 like really like changed my perception of what it means to like binge a show and really live in a show and enjoy it as an audience member. So it's cool to see it in a position where it's about to wrap up.
Thank you for
Lana,
seeing it all the way through.
Yes.
Lana, you shot a film, Coyote versus Acme, a while ago, and we still don't know if it's ever going to see the light of day. Do you have any update?
I have zero update. That's probably definitely the most devastating thing in my career thus far. Yeah, I loved that movie so much. I had the honor of working with incredible artists for it, and we built the most amazing worlds, and we got to work with like phenomenal puppeteers and CGI and just all these things, and it was so nostalgic, and I loved the story through and through, and we had a blast making it, and I am genuinely heartbroken that there's a world that no one will ever see it for tax purposes. I think that's so sad, and I when I got the news, they invited me to a funeral screening, which is like the saddest thing ever.
That's how it's labeled?
And I thought, yeah, and you know, the film was predominantly myself, Will Forte, and myself, Will Forte, and John Cena. We were kind of like the only humans. Like everything else was all green screen and everything. So I didn't really know what it was going to look like. So when I went to the funeral screening, I thought to myself, like, maybe the movie isn't good, and maybe I was wrong. Watched the film, and I personally think it was my best work I've ever done, and I think it was funny and kind and put a real positive message, and that was really truly devastating for me and for everyone involved.
I think there's still hope. I was reading stuff about it recently. I don't think it's a Batgirl situation. I think there's maybe a chance we can see it. But
hopefully.
Valiant 1, we know we're seeing
Yes.
next week, which I'm very, very excited for audiences to check out. Guys, this was awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
No matter how hard it gets, you stick your chest out.
No.
You keep your head up, and you handle it.
Is that supposed to be a pep talk?
It's Tupac.